We're live, guys. We are live. We are all the way live. So as you guys are chiming in, I'm going to go over some things. So I think I need to scrub this lens off so you guys don't get like a bunch of just greasy keto fingers going on. So you guys are trying to chime in. I'm cleaning my lens. Clip Nation, you are actually the first, and Abe, you are actually second. I know. Okay. What's the camera going on? What's up, Apple? So you guys are coming in, and I want to kind of, as you guys are coming in, yes, got you live. Hi, everyone. So apparently, a lot of people who follow me do not understand live streaming. You have people, you stream a lot, so streaming is part of a new YouTube, let's say, bonanza. It's the new thing. Because this way you guys can see that I'm not antiquated. Hit that like button. And I think that people who follow things like Twitch or YouNow, those types of people understand live streaming. But a lot of you guys who follow on my channel, and I've done, I think, like 25 or 30 live streams in a row, a lot of you guys don't understand that you actually have to communicate with your audience. So a woman yesterday said, I'm unsubscribing. You are talking too much to the comments. And I was like, that's what live streaming is. So for those who follow on my channel, this is not an antiquated, preloaded video. Now, I made one yesterday, so I will upload it for people who just want the content and don't want to hear me engage with my audience. But that is live streaming. That is the wave of the future. So when I do, let's say, a presentation, I can not watch the comments and just do the presentation and then go into the Q&A and interact with my audience. So for those who do not understand live streaming, this is how it works. You communicate with your community. Thank you, Lulu Lime. Hi, Candace. So people are commenting. And there's a super chat. People are donating to the stream. So I was really behooved by this person who was like, you have really great information, but I'm unsubscribing because you talk too much to the chat. And I'm like, people really try to tell you how to engage and live your life. It just behooves me. Okay? Live streaming is interaction with your community, guys. Very important to understand. Now I'm going to talk about the quality of meats, and I'm actually going to go into what can get you into keto faster. Now I decided to private yesterday's video because people were saying that I was responding to the trolls, but the violent comments that the troll was making had to be reported. So on my side, to improve my streams, I finally have one moderator, so I will create a couple moderators. So when I go live, instead of responding to the trolls, the moderators will just remove, delete the trolls. So you guys, as I go into the subjects for today, ignore the trolls. I will ignore the trolls until I have more moderators. Okay? We clear? Okay? Number one, don't tell me to not talk to the chat, because that's what I do. Number two, I will get to the point. So the thing that kind of behooved me was I'm giving out free content. So this woman's mad at me and is saying my content's good, but she's unsubscribing because I didn't get to the free content fast enough. Like, what is the world coming to? Yes, Arthur, and the people that do join love the fact that I am interacting. I know, she's like, I'm unsubscribing. Your content's good, but oh my, you are just too talking to the people in the chat. So Richard, as you can see, has a little tool next to his name, and Richard is my first moderator. So if you guys see any trolls, tell Richard to remove that troll or trolls, because he now has the power to do it. Hercules. So let's get right on to it. Yay for Richard. He's also moderating my Keto Course Facebook page. Richard's like, I will destroy them. All right, you guys, if I'm not getting to the content quicker on the replay, you can just fast forward until I get to the content. It's pretty easy. I love to say hello to my community. And you know what? I'm going to do that right now for those people who are complaining. Here we go. So we got Keishel. What's up, Keishel, who joined the Facebook course page, and Jessica, and Juliet, and Bruno, and Abe, and Briseis, of course, Richard, Arthur, and Dawn. That's what's up. Jay, welcome to my live stream. Okay? And I will get to the content, the free content, in due time. Jeez. Hey, Krista. You guys got to understand that live streaming is becoming like a channel, and it's a way that your crowd can interact with you. So I think it's a brilliant platform. It's the reason why I've done all live streams, 25 in a row, is for that interaction. You guys learn, I learn. It's amazing. Now, with that said, it's still hot here in Cali, and I need to take off my socks because my feet are too hot. All right, so let's get into the meats. Now, yesterday, which I privated that video because the troll was just, it kind of damaged the stream. We want fatty meats. So I got a butcher box of a lot of meats, and I got pork. I think it was pork shoulder. I got to go check again. I got sirloin, which is not as fatty. I got ribeye. So if you get beef, make sure that your beef is grass-fed, or it's not worth it if you don't have enough money for grass-fed. Now, going to be a sassy night, right, Michelle? Right? So beef is the one protein, animal protein, that if it's corn-fed and hormone injected, it's really dangerous to a human body. Now, you can find ground beef, which is kind of great because they take the fatty bits that no one else wants because they want sirloin and other like lean parts of cow's meat. We don't want that. We want things close to the rib, hence the ribeye. But ground beef has a lot of fat in it, especially if you do the 85-15, or if you can even do 80-20, which would be great. Thank you, Stephanie. We share the same name, grass finished, as John. I don't know if you were asking or suggesting. So if you guys don't mind, like up the stream, because we got 33 likes only and 58 people in this chat, and it's growing. So with that said, ground beef is cheaper than ribeye. Clearly, I think a 6 ounce or 8 ounce ribeye can be $15. It's super expensive unless you order from U.S. Wellness Meats or things like Butcher Box online. Then otherwise, it's just really expensive in the stores. So I would avoid beef unless it's grass fed. Now, this one person said grass finished, which means that, when grass isn't really growing into season, they're still feeding the cows corn. Corn really fattens up these cows, and that's why they like to. Bison is a little too lean for keto, I'm not going to lie. So, like I said, if you do bison or if you do lamb, just get it near the rib. Just get the fattiest cuts. So, lamb near the rib. You can also do pork belly, which is, amazing. Amazing pastured pork belly. Obviously bacon, you guys, again, yesterday I was explaining you want to make sure that your bacon is uncured with no sugar, no nitrates, because people will go to Costco and find uncured with no sugar, and then it's like the third ingredient is, and it's turbinado sugar, I just remember that. People will go and get Costco meats, and you just, guys, be really careful for the beef. Now, the pork and the nitrates and the ham and the salami and the hot dogs, Applegate does nitrate-free, corn-fed free, hormone-injected free, turbinado sugar free processed meats. So be very careful. Now, you can also, yes, Applegate salami. You can also do chicken. Now, chicken is not a great source of fat-soluble vitamins or things like you're trying to look for omega-3s or conjugate linoleic acid, those are best in like beef, to be honest, or fish. You want to get or salmon or sardines for the omega-3s, but beef also has really great omega-3s in it. Eggs, if you don't have an egg allergy. Duck eggs might be one step up to the potential, or duck egg yolks. If you guys have egg sensitivities or chicken egg sensitivities, is what I meant. You can have, like I said, bison is a little too lean. What else? So you guys try not to do white fish. We don't, like, if you're out at a restaurant and you want that lobster tail, you want any type of like shrimp or prawns, the dirty animals, I know. One night here and there, it's fine. But what you want to purchase from home, hi from Melbourne, hey Jeff, yeah, commercial meats are very iffy. Duck, and I think that if you're doing a duck fat, I don't know if it's, who told you that duck meat is good for keto? It's not the fattiest cut, so I don't know. People do duck fat because sometimes they have a hard time tolerating the small amounts of casein or whey in butter. See? Angela's like, hi, Stephanie from Michigan. And you guys want me to not say hi back? Come on now. And we got Sandeep from India. Yo, these are my homies. So all these people complaining that, because I've had a few, and it's mostly women. You're not getting to the content fast enough. Stop looking at the comments. No, I won't stop. Don't tell me how to run my live stream. Okay. And if you unsubscribe, that's okay. Because somebody will subscribe after you. Okay, so Keisha's talking about the course group information is very informative. So, here we go. You guys, some of you have histamine intolerance. So if I talk about the meats or the protein, unfortunately, meats that are not fresh slaughtered, Richard, you can stop. But thank you, Richard. Here, Richard is donating to the super chat, so I'm gonna ignore him. He just donated $10. Should I ignore him because you guys want me to not break focus? No. Thank you, Richard. Thank you for moderating. Thank you for donating to the super chat. Thank you, everyone who has started to follow me on these consistent live streams. Yes, of course, A1 and A2 cows. So A1 cows are the black and white cows, and A2 cows come from Africa, which is, and I think maybe some parts of Asia, they are black, white, and brown. The A1 cows have been bred a lot, so they're only like black and white, and they tend to have issues with the growth factor, which can lead to autism and ADD and, gut issues and so many issues, cancer because of the growth factor, the IGF-1. Possible to find pork, beef in India. Yeah, I know, Sandeep. It must be really difficult, but you can find chicken there, and do your best. I mean, you just got to do your best for where you are in different parts of the world. Now, when I was in most parts of Asia, they eat a lot of pork and a lot of chicken. Like, that's what you get. When I was in China, you could order stuff from Australia, and so beef liver or liver cheese pate. So there's no cheese, so obviously because of the casein. So no cheese. Thank you, Chantel Matthews, at $15 donated to the super chat. So as you guys who are watching the replay are starting to realize how the live stream works, because the YouTube advertising is so wonky. I think they have demonetized, if I've done 25 videos, they've demonetized 15 of them. And I literally don't say anything, I don't swear or anything. So people used to make money on YouTube per view. But now, because advertisers have pulled out, YouTube has created a super chat where you can donate to your favorite streamer that you interact with. That's the whole point of the live stream. And you can actually donate and put a comment so your comment stands out. So for those who are finally seeing live streams, this is how the wave of the future, and a lot of you guys will get this type of new technology in the future. I will get to the point about the fatty meats, but I also will stop to engage with these very amazing people who start to follow me every stream. So the types of liver that is probably not so shady is chicken liver. So chicken liver is great. Like beef liver is better in some aspects, but then we have that whole, and that ding is to remind me that my food's ready, so I'm not going to make the stream very long. But the beef liver, unfortunately, is kind of high in carbohydrates, and it's high in vitamin C. It's very ironic that the organ meats are so good for you, but we just have to. Well, no, Keisha, it's always we got the salmon cooking too tonight. Um, yes, Jason says high quality foods are great, but chew your food. Thank you, Charisse. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I was called Charisse when I was a little kid, but spelled with Cherise. All right, you tried liver. Now, a lot of you guys, I don't really get the problem with liver. Okay, first of all meat, all food, all, stuff from God and Mother Earth, I'm grateful for. So I don't really have like an aversion to foods if I know it's going to heal my body. Now, beef livers, be very careful if you cook them, especially if it's if it's grass-fed beef liver, great. Be careful how much you cook it because it raises the carbohydrate count and can mess with your blood sugar numbers. Speaking of that very quickly, speaking about protein, there's a guy on my keto course page. It's a Facebook subscription-based membership keto course page. You sign up on my website. I've had it for 2 years, but I've just started promoting it now. And that's what you do when you're on social media. That's the way it is. But there was a guy who was commenting, what do you think? Somebody said that, you don't pop out of ketosis because your protein is high. Yes, you do. Well, this person said, I don't care what this person said, because look at me, you guys. I've been coaching. I mean, we're talking 3 consultations a day now, not in the last months because I've been working on this keto book, but 3-4 consultations a day for 5 years, okay? And sometimes even more. And sometimes groups. People using a glucometer, which I chart, and I have 100 notepads, you guys. I had too much protein, my blood glucose spiked and spiked and spiked and spiked. I didn't know this until I started seeing people's blood sugar spike on too much protein. So we're going to go by some guy doing a YouTube video because he heard somebody else say that you can do high protein. Where's the proof that you guys have? Where are the 100 journaled books on actual clients where you've charted their numbers? Thank you, Lulu Lime Design. You're so sweet. She's another person who signed up for a consultation and still is donating to the super chat. And for those who don't like that I'm breaking, that's the way it is. Thank you so much. And Richard is already doing his work as a moderator. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you, Juliet. So she writes, and this is now, so somebody who's donated, Juliet donated $10 to the super chat. And now she's able to write something. It's in orange. And I can read it and see it. She says, my hubby is not keto, but so happy about the change in me. She writes big. That he's always saying you need to pay this awesome lady. Oh, thank you so much, Julia. And thank you to your husband as well. And okay, he has his happy and more healthy wife back. Thank you so much. Live streaming is going to be the wave of the future, you guys. So get used to the new format. Thank you, Juliet. And thank you, Richard. And thank you, Lulu Lime. And who else? Someone else donated. And Charisse. Thank you so much. So, juries, I don't know what you're asking about not being fat adapted or not, but it's really important to focus on the quality of your meat. If you can't afford grass-fed pasture, then eat chicken, even though chicken isn't the best source of protein and it's not the best source of fat, and eat the dark parts. That's what I suggest. And if you guys don't have an egg allergy, then eggs, especially the yolk. Okay, those are the fats. I mean, those are the meats, and I said them. Make sure that you check on the back of your bacon, again, that there's no turbinado, honey, sugarcane, or nitrates in your protein, in your bacon, and try to get your bacon 3 grams and lower. That's what we want, because you want to look at that bacon strip and see more fat to protein, not 50-50, but higher in fat on that bacon strip. So Dury's LDL, there's many LDL particles. You can't just, there's not one. So you really, you're not really sure what you're talking about. The only way to know if you're having a problem with one of your LDLs is to check the particle size, and you're looking for LDL particle B. If you don't get an LDL particle B test, it is just useless. Then you have to go by your HDL to triglyceride ratio. See, so we got someone, MZ22, says, hello there, Stephanie, and I'm going to say hello back. I got it. Genau. All right, so again, with the amounts of protein, first of all, another really big thing I want you guys to pay attention to is to chew your protein slowly. Because if you chew, swallow, chew, swallow, the stomach backs up, right? The body can't break down the hydrochloric stomach acid. Things are backed up and then begin to be shoved into the small intestine, which then spikes your blood sugar. What cannot be used and is not available will be converted into glucose. That's just how it is. If your stomach is too backed up from protein, the body's not going to go through the conveyor belt and have the insulin work perfectly with the amino acids and get into the muscle cell without having a blood sugar spike. So you guys need to learn more about digestion, more about the HCl levels in your stomach, more about bacteria on meat, which can spike your blood sugar, more about nitrates, the quality of meats, the hormones injected in meat. You have to learn more about these types of things. And then the amounts of protein, I think I'm going to wait for a separate video, or else this is going to go too long. And I don't want to go too long because yesterday I went long, and then I had crazy trolls, and then I had people complaining, and I'm not doing that today. Okay. So this is the business, right? At 50, I'll say it every video, 50 years of age, doing full keto for 10 years, and learning things like the best quality meats, that if you're eating chicken breast every day and tuna, you're not eating enough fat to create fat breakdown within the liver, right? Ketones are coming from the diet first, and then your liver. So your fats must be high, your protein's pretty moderate to low, and your carbohydrate is 20 net under, so 20 net, 30 total-ish from cruciferous vegetables. So be careful for the coconut milk and coconut cream and all this kind of stuff, because it tends to have a lot of sugar. Be careful for ketchups and tomato and zucchini and onions and things of this nature, especially the bulb onions. When you saute them, it raises the level of sugar. And you also have to be careful for these fruits. A lot of you guys are trying to do berries because somebody else said you could do berries. People are telling you to do super starches. I have tested people on super starches. Boom, the blood sugar spikes. So just be really careful with the content that you're finding on the internet, because these experts tend to test athletes. They're not testing people with GLUT4 issues, insulin issues, pancreatic issues, polycystic ovarian syndrome, insulin resistance. And to actually, I've said this before, people think that you have a 0.5 ketone and you're adapted. You're not adapted on 0.5 at all. You have to get it up to a 1.8 and be in a range. So Jessica says, I tell you what, everything is bigger in Texas, including the barbecues and servings. Okay, so 6 ounces serving. So yeah, so for women, you want to have your protein between, and I can say this, the women want to have their protein between 2 and 3 ounces, depending on their athletic lean mass, lean to fat ratio, if they are athletes, train hard, their age. any type of metabolic strength or inflexibility. And also for men, it's typically between 4 and 5.5 ounces. 6 tends to get too high. You have to factor in things like the bones. You have to factor in things like pork belly is mainly fat, so you can go higher, 6 ounces in pork belly as a male. So I'm going to take your guys' questions. Let's do this. So Jessica writes, yes, I know it's gluconeogenesis, and realize it stalled me last year doing too much protein. So Jessica, thank you for the comment. This is exactly what I'm talking about. We don't need to go to what some expert says who doesn't test it on a barrage of people. We'll just go by the real people, the real citizens of the world. I'm not telling them to write this. They're writing it on their own. Right, Jessica? Tell him, Richard. I love Richard. Richard's just crushing this. I should have added Richard a long time ago as a moderator. Hey, Sasha. My Fitness Pal makes it 4 ounces of pork belly, 30 grams of protein. So, Kishelle, scan the package. Because that's, and every cut of pork belly is going to have different ratios from protein to fat ratios. So don't use the app itself. People keep asking me what's the best app, like that calculates the macros based on what they think. Don't do that. Just scan or look at the back and write it in as a tracker, but don't use their ratios and macros. Yeah. So Julia, it's like I super don't like MyFitnessPal. It makes her crazy. Mods and trolls have a special relationship. I think that there's no special relationship. It's just distractions. And thank you guys. We've got 77 people in the chat and 71 likes. So you guys are starting to like up the stream naturally. And for those watching the replay, this is how the live streaming works. Does pork belly taste good? Oh, it's amazing, Sasha. So how I cook my pork belly is I'll do a oil rub and salt rub. And then I will boil it for just like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. And then I'll bake it at 350. And it is just the oil and the salt keeps in the juices. And I learned this from this Chinese woman who was cooking a whole thing of pork belly for her family. I'm like, girl, teach me the ways. Just so you guys know. Yeah, sometimes you put bacon fat. Do I recommend this? All day, every day, just tons of fat. So Kishelle, it just depends on the cut, and I can't tell you how long to cook your pork belly if I don't know how much you have in the oven. So do we have any more questions? I'm going to stay on just a few more minutes here, guys. I wanted to do a new stream today with me talking to my audience and also not being bothered by trolls. Don't use bone broth powder mix. Just go and cook your own bones. Slow cooker, pressure cooker. I mean, I would only recommend to buy maybe at a Whole Foods or a Sprouts or an Air One or whatever, some pre-made bone broth, okay, where they don't use carrots and onions, which that's where you see 1 and 2 grams of sugar from. Yeah. I would make your own bone broth. It's so easy to make. Okay, signs, Lulu Lime Designs. That's a great question. She asked, what are the signs of glutamate intolerance? So you guys don't realize this, but bone broth, bone marrow has great stuff. It's got fat-soluble vitamins. It's got a lot of minerals in it. Potassium, which a lot of you guys are potassium deficient. Zinc, potassium, magnesium, zinc, chromium, iron. It's got the B complex, the B12. It's got a lot of great stuff in it, but it also has glutamate. So glutamate, it's an amino acid, and some people just have an allergy response to it. Typically, it's from leaky gut, where you create holes in the gut wall and the junctions open up of the wall of your small intestine, and your body just reacts ill to the glutamate. So you'll get tired, Your blood sugar will get really high, will become very high or wonky for a couple of days. You might get bloated, you might get itchy, you might get mucusy, you might have cold or flu symptoms, a stomach ache. Like these are allergy or sensitivity symptoms, and it's pretty much off of any food that you're acting ill to. Bloated, gassy, digestive distress, crazy blood sugar numbers, tired, itchy, like all kind of stuff. You can get bones from the butcher, but just make sure that if you get grass-fed bones, which are great, they have like the most stuff in them, make sure that it is from a grass-fed cow. Do you choose chicken drummies or chicken thighs more often? Well, the reason why when I do eat chicken, because I eat everything, and I can't just eat. I've got pork, I've got chicken, I've got salmon, I've got sardines on occasion when I purchase sardines. I love a fatty lamb, love it. The reason why I choose chicken drumsticks is because I can't find the thighs with the skin on it. The only thighs that is free range, the only thighs that I find still with the skin on it are corn-fed caged chickens. And it sucks because the skin on a thigh, I would choose that over a drummie, but I can only find the drummies. Chicken feet are great to add for the collagen. So it's amazing. Fattiest cut of beef is ribeye, I believe. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I assume it's near the rib. Not really, Kishel. I mean, it's better to get ribs if you're gonna eat lamb. Your students, Deborah. Maybe I'll ask Deborah if she wants to also be a moderator on my YouTube channel. And that's only you guys, you both, if you catch the live stream. But she says, my students are doing time under tension with me now during our breaks. Oh, that's so cute. I love it, Deborah. Love, love, love. So I wouldn't have you moderate now. Definitely you're working with kids. Or students. See, Briseis, is grass finished necessary? I mean, if all you got is grass finished, okay, from time to time. But do not have it still be your main source of protein is grass finished beef. See, don't kill me. I read, see, just because, and I read that just because it said don't me, they can demonetize the video. It's crazy. I read about doing a day or two of bone broth and herbal teas only to start getting rid of a leaky gut. It doesn't work that way. If you have a glutamate problem, you're not going to fix your leaky gut. You know, sometimes it's just about getting good sleep. Yes, Briseis on the Facebook page. 2 great moderators. See, so Jeff says, what P90, C20 carbs? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, fats, 2/3. Sorry, I'm slow. Fats are 236. I mean, Jeff, I think you're tall, right? Could go higher. Protein is 90. That's okay, and carbs 26. Okay. They're from greens, 8 olives, and 8 macadamias. Be careful with the mac nuts. People tend to gain weight on them because it is too addictive. People cannot stop with just 8. That's the problem. Cardio burns muscle and puts stress on your central nervous system and your adrenals, and it's always going to be lifting over cardio. I would suggest a warm-up as cardio, but not as your main source of exercise, because you burn through your amino acids, because your brain is not adapted and it needs energy. And the more you do cardiovascular exercises that are intense, the more you can see diverticulitis and need to add some soluble fiber. Be careful with the soluble fiber with diverticulitis because you can irritate the colon. Yeah, I don't like supplements. So, I mean, greens, broccoli, the cruciferous family is pretty high. I don't know about flax, if that will be beneficial, if that's going to irritate your diverticulitis, which it might. So I would say the greens and the cruciferous vegetables for your insoluble fiber. So start lifting, can't sleep, and okay, who just said that? Sandeep, okay, I think your fats are too low if you're ever hungry at night. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're skipping meals. I don't know if you're just counting some coconut oil in the frying pan. Like literally, because a lot of Indians are vegetarian and they're eating eggs, and that might not be enough sustenance. You may not be eating enough fat, although you could eat ghee. I don't know if you're pounding down the ghee. Oh, yeah. See, Sandeep, you're 160 grams of fat. You know, I talk about 200 grams. That's another thing. Some person, Gary, stop. Gary, your whole paycheck. I'm going to be called Whole Stephanie because I'm taking Gary's whole paycheck. Thank you for the 20. Thank you for donating to Super. And Gary says, hey, Stephanie, great information tonight. Don't forget to throw out the meat that was left in the front of it. Yeah, I will. I will throw it out. I just haven't done it yet. It's in my freezer, so clearly I haven't eaten it. Thank you, Gary, so much for donating to the Super Chat. He's donated, I think, every time he's been on. And he's just this lovely, kind, warm individual. So I appreciate you, Gary. Yeah, and we also thank Richard for doing tonight's moderating. Yeah, no nitrates in bacon. So, yeah, Richard, Richard's amazing. And Deborah. See, Juliet keeps the cortisol. Okay, she's answering. Okay, gotcha. See, when I have my mods in here, they're doing a great job. And Richard's like, yo, trolls, you come at me, all right? I'm coming for you. 160 grams of fat, ghee, butter. Yeah, Sandeep, is way too low. I don't know if you're a male or a female. Excuse my ignorance on Indian names, which I love Indian names. But I don't know if you're male or female, so therefore, if you're male, it's beyond too low, and if you're a woman and you're still under 200 grams of fat, it's clean tonight, thanks. Yeah, exactly. Another person had said, and I think this person had referenced me, I think this was also my Facebook, I can't remember, but they were like, you don't need 200 grams of fat to keto adapt. And I was like, I'm the only one that says that. I think that Finney said that way back in the day. But again, I'm like, I think this was a DM on my Facebook. Again, over and over and over again, when people's fats are too low, the ketones are low, or they're unviable. And people out there who saying that you don't need fat use urine strips to test ketones, which are just useless and subjective. Purple means you're not adapted. Shivani's like, oh, Shivani's in India. Like, we were discussing me coming there and also, the supermarkets and things that I can purchase. Because I'll probably go to India and stay in an Airbnb. And then I'll already know, like, what shops to go to get my ghee, right? And I'll probably do chicken when I'm in India. And I will definitely not eat street food for my poor little stomach. Oh, you only check your ketones, and is it Naya? Only in the morning. Otherwise, if you check during the day, it's from what you're eating, and that's subjective. We want fasted ketones because that's coming from your body fat, and that's what people are obsessed with, is weight loss, right? What does it say? What does it say? We're so obsessed. Okay, guys. Oh, I'm so jealous, Michelle. You went to India last spring. Did you get sick? Or did you do well, Michelle? I'm very curious how you did when you went to India. There's another thing that the bacteria in my stomach that I'm used to is not the same in other cultures and countries. So Jeff says, by the way, I'm feeling great on this protocol. I wake up feeling great. I've got energy all day. I really needed someone to challenge me to give up my coffee. Good. And cheese, peanut butter. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Jeff. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay, Sandeep is a female. She's 90 kilos at 5'8". Now you're tall, but you are at 90 kilos. No. I mean, you got to get those fats up. You're 5'8". Like, what are you doing with 160 grams of fat? It's just like, you're not going to die. That's why you're hungry. If you're hungry, you're not eating enough fat. So now you know, Sandeep, up those fats, 200, higher. You're 5'8". You're tall. And again, always thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. I wanted to tell you guys something. I think I'm going to You know, if you guys have any more questions, I think I'll let my mods, which Deborah isn't officially a mod yet, but I'll let Deborah, and if she's, I don't know, no, she's teaching her students how to do timer and attention now. But I'll let Richard answer some of these things that Richard, I'll suggest that Richard answer some of the most common questions. Okay, so Deborah says, I do timer and attention, but rotate arms one session, core the next, legs the next. That's great, but for people who start, I definitely suggest people do a full body circuit if you're a newbie. Now, Deborah is not a newbie. She's been doing this for a long time. And on the last stream, she was talking about her rheumatoid arthritis and how. So someone like Deborah, I really like Deborah, and Richard I really, really love because they've been following my protocol. They're adapted. So people are like, so who have you coached who's adapted? Well, there are some people right there. So I'm not pulling anybody's chain. Don't do Metamucil, Michelle. No. If you're having constipation issues, do magnesium citrate, eat the cruciferous vegetables. You can do some exercises. Now you lie on your back, and it's if you have lazy colon, right? Because your large intestine wraps around like this. And so the small intestine begins to move. So you can do this jiggly motion right here, right? So you lie on your back to retrain the peristalsis and to get your colon to contract again. And then you would come up and push around and push down. And that's when you eliminate. There are better things than taking Metamucil, you know. There's those Indian things. I was watching this video. This woman was like, pressure points to get the colon to start contracting, which is, I think she was pushing between here, right? It's trigger points, and they work. Here, right? That's another trigger point. I think one is here. Also, you guys, if you have a hard time pooping, go on to Amazon and order a poop step. And that's just a little step that you put your feet up so your knees are up high when you're on the toilet, because that's how we're actually supposed to poop. Instead of Metamucil. Like, that stuff's just garbage. You're 5'5", you're underweight, 5'5", 110 pounds. What macros do you suggest to weight loss? Mirna, you're 110. Child, I love you. But no, you don't need to lose weight. You need to build muscle and change the fat ratio. I don't like to use Vaseline because it's kind of like, what is it? It's not healthy. You could use like vitamin E oil. You can use shea butter, but don't use Vaseline. No. Can you do one day? Wait. Can you please do one day? One day do a live stream about diabetes type 1 and your observation? It's so hard to adapt with it. Oh, you have type 1? Okay, I'm going to talk about type 1 really quick. Petroleum. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so type 1s. You guys, they're out there. There's type 1 and type 2 diabetes. A lot of people don't know the difference between the two. Now, type 1 is that your beta cells in your pancreas stop working that produce the insulin. Insulin is a hormone designed to take the carbohydrates out of the bloodstream or amino acids and deliver the amino acids into the muscle for repair and for growth. And it also gets the glucose out and delivers it to cells to be used as energy. So typically it's an autoimmune disease. Doctors don't know why that people develop type 1 diabetes, but people used to die from it. So now when people can do insulin pumps and injections, people no longer have to die, but it's very, very difficult for a type 1 who doesn't even produce any insulin at all to sit and constantly have to put insulin into the bloodstream, which is really toxic to the body because it stacks up very easily in the bloodstream. So diabetics have to really constantly moderate, make sure they don't become hypoglycemic. Type 1s also produce ketones very quickly. These are the people that develop ketoacidosis, but you don't even have to do the ketogenic diet to develop ketoacidosis. It's from not eating every couple of hours. That's how your ketones. Anyone who doesn't eat for 6 hours can produce ketones. You guys don't understand this whole concept. So that includes type 1s, and type 1s ketones tend to rise and rise and rise without insulin. So you should, as a type 1, be eating every couple of hours to not create these ketones that begin to get too high, which is like 12 to 19 millimolar. The ketones become so high they're acidic. And it means that ketones are not actually getting into the cells to be used. They circulate and they become acidic because there's too much of it in the bloodstream. Now, type 1s, those are people who bring it on themselves. They develop diabetes by damaging their body. Now, they produce insulin. The signaling of that insulin into the receptors, which are like catcher's mitts or hands on all cells. So you have blood sugar, and that insulin is supposed to take that and deliver glucose into the cell so you can have energy. But type 2s, the signal between the insulin and the receptor don't work. So insulin's knocking on the door, but the receptor's not opening to let glucose in. So what happens to type 2s? The blood sugar, fat bombs are fat treats. Okay, so your insulin as a type 2, or your blood sugar, begins to rise very high like a type 1. Okay, and this is from eating carbs and sugars and drinking alcohol and staying up too late and drinking too much coffee and having this dysregulated blood sugar. And this is what happens, skipping meals. This is what happens to type 2 diabetics. And then that signaling doesn't work between the insulin and the receptors for insulin. So a lot of people can eliminate their type 2. Like, doctors will make it sound like, okay, you're diabetic forever. But you can get your blood sugar in a... Now, I got to get this very clear with type 1s and type 2s. Type 1 can kind of keto adapt. They can, let's just put it this way. Type 1s who do keto can get their blood sugar down into a safe zone, because if your blood sugar is skyrocketed over 120, you're going to have like kidney issues, eyesight issues, neuropathy, heart attacks. This is what happens with type 1s. So that is the reason why it's so important to use keto the smart way. Don't abuse it. Don't eat casein. Don't eat things that prevent your ketones and blood sugar to stabilize, because you want to stabilize your blood sugar as a type 1 so you can reap the benefits of not having to develop these deathly responses to high blood sugar. And you're welcome, Elizabeth. And then type 2s, they have insulin, so they're not going to develop ketoacidosis if they don't eat every freaking hour, couple of hours. But they still will go through the high blood sugar, which does a glycating effect to the cells, damages the cell lining, making the cells misshapen. So cells have all these actions, and these actions begin to die because the cellular actions begin to die. That ages the cell. It becomes glued to the next cell, and that's where you have the plaquing. That's where you have the aging. That's where you start to have issues with your organs. So type 1s and type 2 can die from high blood sugar. Type 1s can take away completely their type 2 diabetic symptoms. Type 1s can get their blood sugar down so they don't have to get sick. Thank you so much, Myrna Chavez. Thank you so much for donating to the super chat. She says, LOL, Steph. I meant I'm 210 pounds, 5'5" female. Okay, honey. Oh, sorry if I read you wrong. Okay, so you're... but what would you say? You were talking about your fat amount. I don't even remember what it was. So we got 92 people in the chat and only 81 likes. So for anyone who just joined the stream, please like up the stream, because that gives me more viewability to the YouTube audience, helps the algorithms, and it's just cool. It's just really cool to support your streamer like me. And you are like 2 steps. Macros for weight loss. Myrna, there's no macros for weight loss. There's fixing damage. There's no macros for weight loss. You could have leptin resistance. You could have low T3, low thyroid function. And if your thyroid's not functioning, I don't care what diet you put yourself on, you're not going to lose weight. So you have to fix these issues. You've got to fix thyroid hormone, your reproductive hormones. You've got to make sure that you've got great motility and digestion. You want to make sure that your estrogen isn't spiking. Men, you guys as well, because as you know, estrogen makes more fat in your fat cells. So what diet am I going to put you on if you're estrogen dominant? Like, it's not going to work. And a lot of you guys look at the scale as a factor of health. If you lose a lot of weight rapidly because you are intermittent fasting, you're not ketotic, you are creating more metabolic damage by losing weight too quickly. And then when you're starving and you rebound by like overstuffing your body, one day the blood sugar goes like this, the weight starts to climb back, because people who are doing this H blah 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 diet or the carnivore diet, which, you know what's really interesting? Somebody today, I think it was on, I don't remember where it was, but they were like, I did the carnivore diet and I became constipated. Why don't people who do the carnivore diet just talk about the fact that they have gut dysbiosis, candida, and they have poor gut motility, and then Richard's like, I crushed the trolls, symptoms of estrogen dominance in female. Jared, thank you so much, Jared, for donating a $5 to the super chat. Thank you. And you know what, you guys? You know, give some positive love to all the donators to the super chat, because these are people who work hard at their jobs and in their life. So thank you for donating. Thank you. Thank you. Leaky gut, you guys are asking a ton of questions at once. I'm trying to go. I'm not doing an hour and a half, this guy. I'm doing an hour and then I'm off this podcast. So how do you heal leaky gut? So Christine Cole, I really suggest that you watch some of my older videos, because I'm literally just saying the same thing every stream. Sorry for the misspelling, guys. Typing too fast. Autocorrect. I always type too fast. I'm like, oh, send. I'm like, oh, too late. Okay, so somebody asked another question. What was it? Now I'm like forgetting because there's too many questions coming at once. Oh, how do you lose weight? You guys have to deal with your metabolic damage. You can use keto to help your metabolic damage, but then you have to be very careful for how you do your protocol. People who do cheese and nuts and too low fat, and they count the fat that's in the pan instead of what's on the plate. Keeping their fats under 200. They're starving, so they start stuffing themselves with protein that's high in purines and uric acid, and people are having issues with motility and microbiome, and that's why we need the fiber, is for the prebiotic fiber, because a lot of you guys are just fracked up gut-wise. Now, the leaky gut is sort of similar in the aspects of, you know, sleep is really where the body repairs. If you want to work out and gain muscle and you don't sleep well, you're never going to gain the muscle that you want, because you need to go through reparation while you sleep. And a lot of you guys don't sleep. You don't get enough deep sleep and REM sleep. So you want to create ketones. You want to not have the early morning dawns effect. You want to, you want to get to a homeostatic balance. You have to sleep right. Thank you, Briseis. Thank you so much. It's so funny because a lot of people who are in the keto course group were once on my live streams and had no idea what it was, and now they're in the keto course. It's a Facebook group, you guys. It is very, very driven as a group, as a keto course group. I moderate it. I answer concerns, comments, questions. I post information, and I create fun days like recipe sharing, or post one of your macros. I will analyze it. I do live streams. I do mini consultations. That's the Facebook group. It's only $15 a month, and if you only want to do a month, just do a month. It's really good. Okay, so back to the non-promoting of myself, because I don't like to be a used car salesman. All right. Let me see. I didn't even have a Facebook group. Only signed up to just join the group. Oh, you really didn't know that, Briseis. I didn't know that. Thank you. By the way, do I recommend saunas? Oh yeah. I mean, be careful. Be careful. A lot of you guys stay away from cardio. Yeah. Monique, it's good for like a warm up, but if you got metabolic issues and poor sleep, which we all have, cardio is not the best for you right now. Trying to heal all of that metabolic inflexibility is number one. Sensitivity and gut issues, and do you recommend? Okay, I already read that. And Deborah's like, yes, the Facebook group is amazing. You're doing great, Richard. Oh, so cute. Missy Lynn says, you're doing great, Richard. What she said? So glad you were moderating to keep her from having to deal with that crap. It's true, it's hard to do live streaming. and on your own. And it's hard to keep. There's 91 people watching me right now. So you have to remember that. And I don't, Greg, do deadlifts because my knee, I've had 10 surgeries on my left knee. I was almost on crutches for 4 years. And so I think on one of my live streams, I showed you guys my knee. It is destroyed. Oh, thank you. It's in green, so I can barely read it. See, was it Ishtar 0077? Thank you so much for donating a fiver to the super chat. We'd love to see you in Joe Rogan's podcast. You would be great. A great guest. You look great. Thank you. You know, it's so funny. Like, I used to always watch Joe. I kind of get bored a little bit because he doesn't have people like me on. He has a lot of scientists on, and sometimes they're so boring. You just want to get them to so the problem with a lot of these scientists is that they don't have, you know, I did a video on my, you guys go to my Instagram. It's Stephanie Ketogenic. I do stories. I'm going to do a story after this about your poop. But I had some parsley, and I was dancing, right? I was dancing in the video, and one of the stories, and I said, and then the second one was about parsley and collagen. So parsley is really good for your nails, for your bones, for your immune system. If you guys are dealing with halitosis, or if you're dealing with a keto breath, parsley is like the best. Like these small little factoids that are so great for everyone. And I was like, if I just talk about parsley, who's gonna watch? But if I sit and put myself in a little workout top and I'm like dancing and being silly, and then the next video I'm like, all right, enough of that. Okay? You guys aren't going to pay attention, because the problem with the internet is that, you know, some of these, there are a few young guys. Now, there's a lot of young guys doing keto now, and they're shredded and they're probably on stuff. And probably, I mean, 99 percentile. And they've got books coming out. They don't know what they're talking about. Those are the ones that are like intermittent fast and drink coffee and eat a ton of cheese and do cheese pancakes. Just put some cream cheese on a saute pan. Who cares about the quality of food? Or with the cow, like, you know, these little freaking little boxes and corn fed with hormones, and flip it and make a little like cream cheese pancake. And these people get hundreds of thousands of followers, 300,000-400,000 followers. And I researched Juve Light and saw the bulletproof coffee guy created his own Juve. Legit. Okay, you guys are saying so many things, I don't even know where to start. The Juve here, you guys have talked about this many, many times. This Juve, Stephanie keeps it. I keep things 100% real. This thing, it's expensive. There's a lot of companies that do infrared, so do your research. They graciously donated me one to sort of review it, and I'm keeping it real. First of all, it affects the skin, and if you guys are so worried about aging, the quality of skin, this thing's making me hot. I can't even tell you from head to toe how the quality of my skin has improved because of this. Now, it's supposed to penetrate your body within 2 inches, and it's supposed to raise your nitric oxide, I think, if that's the wording. I can't remember, but scientists are not resorting. Oh, Jay, just relax. Yes, they are boring, Jay, because when they aren't talking about, if they're talking about this, or they're talking about other things and they're not getting to the point, the in-between stuff is boring, Jay. Sorry. And you know what, Jay? We all have different minds and we all perceive things differently. So if you can take some of the keto experts breaking down the biology of ketones, it's boring. It is. People want you to get to the point. So don't get triggered, Jay. You don't get what I'm saying when I'm saying that they're boring. I'm not saying they're boring because I'm a science geek. I'm talking about sometimes their personalities and speaking monotone, and if they drag on a subject, a lot of us are really like, let's get to it. So don't get triggered. It's just not that big of a deal. I need to turn this off. But yeah, so the Juve is expensive. It is, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know when my book's coming out. Um, just straight up, I'll let you guys know. Broke my leg, can't work out. Um, I had 10 surgeries on my left knee with my leg up on a chair doing shoulder presses and biceps. You can work out. And that was after surgery. And I've broken my leg as well. So that would be an easier thing to break my leg rather than all those stupid snapping of everything in my knee. Yeah, monotone speakers. I think people get so triggered. And I love Jay. Jay pops up all the time. But he's like, oh, I resent the fact that you said that scientists are boring. I said some of them. So like people just get triggered so easy. Saunas can be bad, Monique, when you do it for too long because it can actually start damaging the collagen under your skin if you're in really blasting high temperature too often. You know, we become addicted to doing everything a little bit too much. Going to be possible to be fat adapted because of my back preventing full night's sleep. No, Shirley, I mean, look, I've got back pain, I got hip pain, I got knee pain, I got pain. And you can. You've got to learn how to strengthen the muscles in your back. True story, right? Simple back exercise, right? Back extension. Back extensions, non-invasive. I'm not even using any weight, and I'm strengthening my rhomboids, just back extensions, or Superman's on the floor. All right, I want to tell you guys something, and then I'm gonna go. When I was going through knee rehab, I would keep a straight leg, and I would put weights and I would do lifts on the floor. I would just lift my leg up. So that's going to be for your quad. Circulation, you move your foot back and forth. You can do sumo squats, the toes outwards, sumo position. Put a couple pillows on a chair so you don't do a full 45-degree angle squat. So you're squatting with less of a degree going down. So your butt touches the pillow, you stand back up. So sumo, instead of straight legs, put your less stress on the knee. As you guys know, and if you watch my Instagram, I'm constantly doing glute kickbacks. As you can see the glute, right? Glute kickbacks, really great. Pop the gluteus maximus, really great exercise. Or you lie on the floor and you do hip thrusts, right? So hip thrust, this is a hip thrust, and that will also work your hamstrings and your glutes. So there's some suggestions right there. I want to tell you guys something real quick, and then I'm going to go. My back and neck were destroyed in parachute accident. Yikes. I slept on the floor. Yeah, that's another thing, is to sleep on the floor. But really strengthening those muscles is going to help. Like my knee. It was hard for me to go down a flight of stairs because there was no muscle around the knee. It was just so atrophied that when I would go downstairs, I felt like I was going to fall on my face. And then I was like, enough of this, and I started training my quads with baby exercises. I still do them, and now the strength comes back so much. It's amazing. Okay, so proper breathing exercises are diaphragmatic breathing. You just have to Google it. It's in through the nose, out of the mouth, and holding in the breath for like 4 breaths. So that's the best breathing exercise. If you're talking about working out, that's a whole nother avenue, but okay, here we go. I was having one of these thoughts earlier today, so I'm not going to answer you more questions. I want to just put some ideas out there. So this is my body. You guys see? I am 50 years old. Okay. So 50, been lifting for a long time. And the reason why my body looks like this or my health looks like this is not because of my genetics. It's because of my epigenetics. And that's the ability to manipulate your own DNA. And I was thinking, I can't get friends to call me back. I can't get millennials to stop doing dumb friggin' emojis instead of using words. Or getting millennials to stop hitting me up on Instagram and just call me or text me. I can't control those things. I can't control the fact that when I ride my bike, nobody stops at a stop sign here in Los Angeles. They just ride right through, and I see this, and I can see they're gonna go right through the stop sign. I can see by the type of car. All these things in life you can't control, right? Thank you, Briseis. But one thing that you have power over is yourself. So when I'm at the supermarket, airports, riding my bike, in the gym, I'm seeing in the gym in Los Angeles, which is supposed to be the healthiest city on the planet with health trends. I mean, there's like 8 amazing supermarkets in Los Angeles, plus farmers markets, where I can get a ton of amazing high quality foods. The land of the stars and all this kind of stuff. Movie stars and famous people who've got trainers and diets and this and that. And I can walk into that gym and just be like, I mean, they're not obese, perhaps, but they are not healthy. I can see their skin quality around their eyes. I can see their body shape. I can see estrogen dominance. I can see low testosterone. I can see gut dysbiosis issues in the eye, whites of the eyes, the lack of the whites of the eyes, the teeth, the tongue. I can see if you have ridges on your nails. You can see health in people, hair quality, thyroid disorders. I can see it on the young girls who have thyroid issues. I can see who's drinking coffee and not because their skin looks congested. Hola, Haley. And I'm like, how hard is it you have this body one time in your life and you can't take care of it? So that's my message. I just had this kind of like epiphany. It's not an epiphany, I already know it. But I had this strong feeling like, wow, there's one thing in this world I can't get people to come through. I can't people to stop being rude. But I can take care of myself. It's not that hard, you guys. Keto is not that hard. I do consultations and people complain about feeling restricted. How do I go to a party and do keto without people bugging me? I'm like, there are people dying all over the world. There's poverty, disease, and we have a hard time to not eat sugar or to go to a function. You know how many people fall off the wagon? And I'm always like, well, you should get back on that horse. But really, I'm like, yo, it's not like your body is the one thing. Like, I can get up in the morning and I can be eating something poor. I could be thinking poor thoughts. I could skip my workout. Like, I haven't been to the gym in like a month. I ran into this guy. I was like, where have you been? He's Swedish. I'm like, where have you been? He's like, I didn't feel like coming to the gym. I was like, you are 26. What are you doing instead of the gym? Are you hiking? There's the canyon right there. Like, what are you doing? Are you rollerblading? Are you playing basketball? Like, what? Something. And so I'm like, we can't control these things. People can't look at each other in the eyes. People have poor relationships. People can't control their kids. Oh, I am doing keto for the family, but I can't get my 12-year-old to eat healthy food. I'm like, you definitely did not have my mama. Because my mama would say, you gonna eat that or you don't eat. Okay? That's what my mama would say. So I don't understand these parents that sit their kids in front of the television and video games and little kids knowing how to use an iPad and a cell phone. Children are not being exposed to any type of circadian rhythm. They're blasted with light. Parents have their kids doing like soccer and basketball and dancing and all this stuff at night. I don't understand. So then these kids have a horrible circadian rhythm. Kids would rather just be with the family at night. Why do you have to drive 45 minutes to some practice that a 9-year-old doesn't even want to be at? So I see you guys are just nonstop talking about keto. It kind of annoys me a little bit because I'm trying to give you guys a message here. And yeah, so thank you, Jade. Thank you for actually addressing what I'm saying, because with the 89 people in this chat, almost none of you guys are now talking about life. You guys are still so obsessed with this keto stuff. Stop! Listen to something else for just a few minutes. Thank you, Brianna. It's like I just see this like obsession. And 99% of you in this chat right now are obsessed about losing weight. Well, then lose the weight. Jeez. How hard is it to be healthy? How hard is it to be healthy? Thank you, Lynn, for listening. Thank you, Tatiana. I just was trying to talk, and all I kept seeing were these stupid questions about keto. You guys have to look deeper than that. My kid eats what's on the table. Exactly. Why? And I like my friend, he's a server here in LA. I was like, how many families come in with everybody's on their cell phone? He's like, all the time. And it's like, I'm trying to, you grew up with a Peruvian grandmother. She raised me and oh boy, I ate what she put on the table and listened, or I would get my whooped. So as I do these streams, I want to encourage people to realize that how friggin' hard is it to design the body you want? Seriously? Are you kidding me? Do you think it was an accident that I'm in this shape at 50? No. I work on it every day because I can rely on myself. I will look myself in the mirror at myself and be honest with myself. Do you guys do that? When you're like feeling that it's so restrictive, it's so hard, and I just want to lose the weight, I do everything, it's not coming off. Do you know how much I get sick of hearing that? You've never done everything. If you can breathe, okay? If you can, if you can find some semblance of greatness and happiness for being alive, instead of allowing your serotonin to drop, right? And then you take high carbohydrate foods to spike your serotonin, but it only lasts while you're eating it, 20, 30 minutes, and then it drops, and then you crave it again. How hard is it to do a disciplined ketogenic protocol? How hard is it to connect to a circadian rhythm? How hard is it to chew your food slowly? How hard is it to get your butt to bed and get into a deep sleep? If you keep asking these dumb questions, it's never going to happen. Now, what I mean by dumb is I'm repeating the same stuff over and over and over again. 200 grams of fat. And then when I'm like, well, how much fat are you eating? 150. People looking for excuses to eat more protein. Your body is the one thing. You are the one thing that you can control. I don't care if Primal Health, I shouldn't even say his name and putting words in my mouth. Okay? He's just someone that should not be, I don't know, these other people. Thank you, Septira. So just wanted to say this. I wanted to say this the whole stream. As I'm answering questions and I'm saying the same stuff, I wanted to talk about something else. I wanted to talk about what it's like to be a human and design who you want to be. It doesn't matter if you want to be disciplined or have a great body or have a great life or, by financially secure, whatever it is. I have the power to lie in bed all day or to get up and do something. I have the power to eat and do a lazy, dirty keto or literally try to clean things up. It's so easy. So that's the message that I wanted to give at the end. You guys design your life. If you are stressed because you have 4 kids, you have 4 kids. I have no kids. And it's not that I didn't ever want kids. It's just that Stephanie, who designs her own life, wanted to have kids with somebody she fell in love with. Like, last bus stop, because I'm 50. I've been riding the bus my whole life. I want to make sure that that's the last bus stop. Why would I have 4 kids and then be like, I have no time and my adrenals are stressed out? And I'm like, I feel bad. And then I'm like, but you designed that life. Why would you design a life like that? Why would you have 4 kids that you cannot? And then the quality of life is like this. I tried to help my mom, and I helped her at first. But now, because I've been grinding her for 10 years, she gets so upset if I call her and make sure she's still eating enough fat. Like, she gets upset, and I'm like, because my mom is lonely. And my mom's going through a certain kind of thing right now, and I'm like, Mom, you still have so many beautiful things in your life. Because you are so right, Stephanie, I battle depression. I would extremely... And like the thing is, people who battle depression, yeah, there's a lot of biological things going on. Low serotonin, you guys have gut dysbiosis, like, the vagus nerve goes all the way down. The gut is affecting like the brain. You guys are eating things like cheese, which caters to your depression, skipping meals, blood sugar, like eating high sugars, you're reactive hypoglycemic, and then you don't realize that a part of or you have like adrenal insufficiencies, and a part of your depression just comes from low energy or even electrolytes. The reason why, yes, the truth doesn't hurt. The truth feels good to me. Please don't lie. The truth might sting for a minute, but I am so grateful when I finally hear the truth, because I have to beg my friends to be honest with me. Beg them. Because people are conditioned to not tell each other the truth. Well, if I tell this person what I really feel, they'll get really upset. So like one of the things that Richard said was, I'm learning trying to be more diplomatic. And I'm like, but why? I mean, Richard's a beautiful human being. Why does he have to completely change who he is because somebody has a hard time hearing the truth? How is that going to help the person? This is the message I wanted to say so much at the beginning of the stream, but I know that you guys won't listen to me talk about life. I've got to go do gunshot answers and talk about keto, or else people are going to unsubscribe. You're going to unsubscribe because I didn't get to your impatience fast enough. So I got 90 people in this chat. And I really appreciate all 90 of you for listening, because I watch other people's streams, right? And when you get bored, you want to bounce off because the brain is like, and I got to go to bed, it's getting late. And you know what? Some of you guys are probably in the East Coast or like, bye, Felicia. I hope that's positively said. Breathing, meditating, mindfulness as so basic yet so powerful, right? You need to complement good food with your strong mind? Good food. I mean, just knowing that we are animals that are supposed to live outside. Like, if I'm on Instagram, the only thing I troll is animals. Like, I get bored with looking at Instagram because it's so dangerous for, it's 9:30 in Florida. It's so dangerous because you'll see these women and they're shredded, and you're looking at women with no fat, and you're like, dude, she has no fat on her butt, no fat, she's just lean. And you guys don't know they're taking stuff, or they're having surgery. Bonne nuit, or is it boa nuit? What is it? Good night. So this is what I wanted to say, you guys. Yes, I'm silly. Yes, you guys have seen every shade of my character. I get hyper and silly and crazy and irritated and chill. And this is my chill zone. And thank you, MKKG. And I want to just thank you, everybody who joined the chat today. I wanted to speak about something else because keto is not going to work unless you hear this part of what I'm trying to say. I look like this. My body's like this because I made that choice to have it look like that. So you guys sit and you visualize the health that you want and the body that you want and the life that you want and go get it and stop complaining. Get it. Because if you are on technology right now, you have the ability to go get it, okay? You're not a poor person in the favelas or I don't know, somewhere in parts of Africa where they don't have any water. I don't think I have any of those people on my stream right now. So, you need to book another one-on-one. Or you need to book a one-on-one. You guys, this stuff is not that hard. That's it. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. I'm tired of telling people, tell me how to do a live stream. Like, there is no handbook on how to do this. You just got to be yourself. Baskin Robbins stuff, 31 flavors. Yes, with my moods. So, you know what? Got some energy! Yeah! Thank you guys for joining this chat. It's time to go because a lot of you guys are 3 hours ahead. And I will be open. Yeah, my calendar got booked up, but I will announce to the chat and onto my Instagram when it's back open. So those who are, hit the notification bell. So when my consultations open up again, you'll know to book right away. And I'll try to get more dates in as well so people can be able to do a consultation. If not, just join the Facebook group. It's only $15 until you get your consultation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the people who are consistently supporting, right? Supporting what I'm trying to do. And good night, everyone. Don't be scared to book. I'm a really empathic, kind person when it's one-on-one, right? When you're speaking to a bunch of people on my phone, like it's like I've been looking at my phone for what, an hour and a half? I mean, I could be looking at a doorknob, like the way the internal body reacts to that constantly staring, you know. So no, I'm really good with people one-on-one. So, all right, guys, thank you. I really appreciate the support. Anyone who has not liked up the stream, I would love it if you did because that gives me more viewability against these young guys who've got 500,000-600,000 followers on YouTube that don't know what they're talking about. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'm out. Bye, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, everyone. Until next time. Hit the notification, subscription bell. It's time for me to eat my cold food. Darn it, I'm hitting the X. You want crazy, Stephanie. Okay, I'm out, guys. Bye.